Hello everyone, Skilled at Luck here with our first video of playing some Arena. We're going to be playing Historic today, playing one of my favorite decks, Kethis the Hidden Hand. So this deck has been near and dear to me ever since Kethis had been printed. I really enjoy the card overall. I enjoy how broken he is, because he is a card that inherently is all about casting as many powerful spells a turn as you can, because he literally makes the most powerful cards in this game cost less, legendary cards. He also lets you recast those cards from your graveyard and play as many things you can as possible. Typically, again, very powerful cards. Typically, these cards, if they are creatures, might be cards you would see as a commander. Like Emery is oftentimes that way. Or you can see a lot of other powerful cards that we've seen in all formats, including Uro as well. Cards like Mox Amber that anytime you have a 0-mana artifact played, you often see it do something ridiculous. So that's what we're going to be playing today, is Kethis in Historic. So I recently made it to Mythic, so that's where we're going to be playing against other players that are in the Mythic ranking as well. And we're going to be playing best 2 out of 3 today. So typically, if you're not familiar with Kethis, or at least the strategy as a whole, you're typically playing, again, Emery. You're playing Diligent Excavator, as well as another card that is going to send cards from your deck to the graveyard. And you're going to typically be trying to make a single turn where you send all your deck to the graveyard and play Jace Wielder of Mysteries to win the game, because you have no cards in your deck. So we won the die rolls, so we're going to go first, and we're not going to keep this hand. This hand is significantly better. We are just missing white right now for actually playing Kethis, but we have everything else we want. We're probably going to be a little landlight with this hand and put the swamp back, because this is just actual everything else we want. So if we can hit white, we're looking at a really strong hand here. It's not a quick combo one because we're still missing Emery, but again, Lazav fixes a lot of problems by putting the cards we need into the graveyard or making our draw step better. Looks like we're going against some variation of blue-black. We do have our white source, so we're looking good here. So we're going to actually lean in with this Diligent Excavator this turn, so we can get our maximum value for playing our Mox Amber and or Lazav. We're probably going to play Kethis next turn, depending on what we see from our opponent. So them playing nothing, I do want to lean into Kethis, because Lazav can become a Kethis. If need be. And that would only require one more land to do that, if they have removal. I feel like if they would have had 2-mana removal, they would have gotten rid of the Excavator last turn. So we did hit our Emery. I'll go ahead and hit him. Sometimes your backup plan does fall in where you have to play Uro and just bash, especially in a grindy matchup where blue-black is involved. So let's see what we have from our opponent. We got to see a spell sometime. Oh, they are Grixis. Okay. I'm intrigued. We're doing a good job of getting our white sources now. See, we're not going to be needing this for this play, so let's go ahead and do this. We're actually not far from actually winning the game with what we have at the moment. We can go ahead and pitch that, because that's just basically drawing a card at this point. Let's look at our grave real quick. So Emery's going to only cost 1 right now. We don't need this Lazav, and we probably won't need Urza's Ruinous Blast. So let's go ahead and get a little bit going on. Especially while our opponent's not using any interaction, which just shocks me that we're not seeing any interaction from our opponent at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and... nope, undo that. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do it this way. So 6 cards deep. If we see an Amber and Emery, we can try to win the game right now. We did not see either. So we're not going to try to win the game right now. But what we can do is go ahead and exile these two and play another Uro, or play Uro for the first time, to mill 2 more cards and draw a card. If our opponent does not board wipe us, then they are definitely going to have a hard time. And even if they board wipe us, we still have Uro as our secondary game plan. So with that being said, let's hit them. But they will have... I really think they're going to 4 damage to all of our creatures. But if they do have just a single spot removal spell, Lazov is a replacement for anything we're missing. Nope. That just... them tapping out, we win this game. This game's over. So we're going to be in autopilot doing our combo in just a second. Because we have enough legendaries in here at the moment. We are short on a legendary at this very moment. We have a lot of things we can do beforehand. So Emery can bring back this Amber. Let's go ahead and actually tap for blue here, because blue is the main mana we're going to need for the remainder of this. Typically, when you're comboing off, all you're tapping your Ambers for is blue. We didn't get anything out of that, but we're fine. We can go ahead and use this boy. Actually, probably should have turned it into a Diligent Excavator, so that's my bad, guys. But we're going to go ahead and turn it into an Uro instead. We're going to pay this because we want blue and not that. We have plenty of blue otherwise. So let's go ahead and attack with this. Diligent Excavator's cool, but not exactly what we were looking for. But it will work with giving us... so all we really need now is an Emery. We're going to be able to mill 4 cards. Just 4 cards, though. Let's see what we got. Let's go ahead. I messed up a little bit, but I'm hitting the control button so I can actually tap this Mox Amber for mana. That's a good start. There we go. That's all we needed. If we did not hit it, we had enough mana to cast the Jace, which would have milled us another 6 cards and drawn us a card. So there's a good chance that we still hit it based off of that alone. Let's take full control off because we're about to do a lot of clicking. So we get rid of Keth. Actually, we did not get quite there yet because we do need that to be in here. So sorry, I'm not used to having so few legendaries at the moment. We don't need to exile the Jace because, let's see, we do want to be able to still win the game without having to deck our opponent out. Oh, that's a lot of Mox Ambers. So we have all of our Mox Ambers now. Just come on, any 2 legendaries, and we're golden. That's 1. That's 2. Okay. So we're going to get to mill 6 cards off our Mox Ambers alone, not even including our Jace at the moment. Let's float our mana and start actually going. And at this point, it would take a very unfortunate. We see we already have another 2 legendaries with a Kethis and an Uro, so it's just really hard for us to lose here. Another legendary, so that's good. Opponent's making us play it out, but that's fine. Our opponent might not know exactly what we're doing or doesn't know how the combo works entirely. We're down to 7 cards in, 7 cards in deck. We just hit an Emery. So casting Emery will win us the game. And if I didn't say it already, alternatively, if something had happened to Jace or I had to exile it earlier, I could get to a point where I could have that Uro become another Diligent Excavator and mill our opponent out. So we're going against some kind of Grixis deck. Sadly, we didn't see a lot of it, but blindly, I can definitely bring in Mystical Dispute. I do feel like they're going to interact with us quite a bit. I don't think Ashiok is going to do a whole lot of work, so I'm going to trim on it. I like Chromatic Sphere against matchups like this. I can trim an Excavator. Urza's Ruinous Blast is typically not super great here. I do have to bring in Vraska's, typically replacing Tamiyo, mostly because of the fact that Grafdigger's Cage is going to be a problem every single time. I could also go ahead and take out the Ashiok for a Teferi as well, and an Uro for a Teferi. Be a little bit more mid-rangey. We can still combo just as cleanly, but this makes it where if we don't, we can just have the big threats. And again, we have to have answers to Grafdigger's Cage or Grave Hate in general. So we're going to go ahead and go that route. So we have all of our colors in hand. We have Stitcher Supplier, which is a great early game. We have Kethis to pay off with Stitcher Supplier and Vraska to answer any problems. So that's going to be a keep. We're going to run right into their Thoughtseize, lose our Kethis, and have a really sad time. Wow. So we're going to go ahead and lead off with, it doesn't matter because we don't have the ability to turn 2 Lazav either way, so we're going to go ahead and go with this one. They are going to have a lot of hand hate to really deal with what we did. Speaking of not being able to turn 2 Lazav either way, we're calling every shot today. The Lazav is a great pickup, though, just because of the fact that it can become that Kethis that we lost. For some reason, it seems that this Grixis player has decided that they are going to be bigger mana from what we've seen so far, so I do expect them to tap out on a turn. Correct pick for them was Lazav, unless they have a way to exile my graveyard. Which, yeah, not a fan of their choice. We're going to go ahead and play this Breeding Pool because we're going to Lazav and Stitchers this turn. By doing the, I should have played Stitcher first in case I liked this card, which I don't. Our third card would have been what I hit with Lazav, which I would have liked to actually keep that Teferi. But we're fine. Get the beats in case of Uro. So we're not tapping out on turn 4 like I thought. I do expect an Ashiok soon. Let's hope I'm wrong for the first time this game. Okay, so I am wrong on that one. And we have our little quote-unquote Moto bug. I don't have an Uro right now. I'd rather leave Lazav up to be a surprise Kethis at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and attack in with the Stitchers. Play the Temple Garden tapped in a moment. Vraska is not great into open mana like this. And let's see what our opponent does. Their best move this turn is to get rid of the Lazav. They are not doing that. They are drawing cards. There's another tap land. But no removal yet. Oh, definitely not 4. Even if I get minimal value out of this Kethis, it's going to be really hard for them to play against it. So I have currently 5 legendaries in the grave, 1 being a Mox Amber. I think I'm going to go ahead and activate this because getting the value out of bringing back an Amber is really high. I already have a Teferi in hand. And having the Emery's costing 1 is just a lot better than playing this first one for 2. So we're going to play for the one that they know about first. Play this other one now. The legend rule is so good for this deck. So we didn't really hit a huge bonus to that. So, like, we can Emery again. Just probably, I mean, see, we don't have to use it. What do I have to exile? I don't really have much to exile this time. I can exile this Vraska and Kethis, play Emery again. I think I'm going to actually go ahead and play Vraska. This is kind of giving them the chance to actually untap. Yeah. That was probably worst case. I don't know why the Disdainful Stroke's fine, but not the best against us. Because, like, the attacking plan is definitely putting a big amount of stress on them. Well, we have all odds, so we're about to lose some cards. They're exiled, so that's even more problematic. Huh. Well, we can play our Teferi this turn. Kind of the whole idea of being this Planeswalker idea is the fact that when I get blown out, I'm not blown out. Hey, I can even cycle this Triome this time because of Mox Amber. That's a problem. Because I don't have my Jace anymore. That's a lot of legendaries gone. I knew the Ashiok was somewhere. It's fine. We'll see what we can do. If I want to get this Uro into play, I'm probably going to end up having to deal with that Ashiok with Teferi's minus. See, I'm not going to be playing that. I don't think life's going to matter a whole lot in this game, so we'll see what we draw. It's a Stitcher Supplier, we get to cast it. Nope. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of Ashiok for a minute. Go ahead and leave this so they think that they can Thoughtseize us, so we can get a little bit more information. Oh, that's a problem. That indeed is a problem. And hello, problem number 2. We'd have a little bit more of a game going right here if Jace was not in exile. Yeah. Won't be overcoming that. We'll go to game 3. We're fine. So, we know more about their deck. I don't think my plan changes. I do plan on drawing Mystical Dispute. That is how my plan changes. So, being on the play is some help. Hey, what did I say? We have all our colors too. We can Triumph turn 1, Stitcher's turn 2 with Fortress to hold up Dispute. I like it. Also like keeping 7s against Thoughtseize decks, because Thoughtseize decks like to make you have less cards, and I want to have more cards. So nothing. Story of our life. That's fine. We just want less cards in our deck, so no biggie. I do love this Uro. I love that even more. But we definitely need to keep this dispute up. I don't care if they know about it at this point, because the tempo swing it should have is going to be big enough. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, that does leave up dispute. I expect Stainful Stroke. Nope. That's fine with me. Go ahead and do this. I am going to decline because there is always the world where next turn they Ashiok with their own dispute up, because I've definitely telegraphed my dispute at this point. I don't really care about their Nicol Bolas that much. It's 7 mana to activate. It's going to make me discard an Uro. We'll go ahead and tempo him. It's probably wrong. It's probably right to let it resolve and not care. But at this point, should have attacked first for that 1 point. So we can play both Uros this turn, ramping a lot. Get rid of non-lands and non-creatures first, because Resolve turning into a Stitcher Supplier can matter. Go ahead and continue this game plan. Make sure to keep the one that we already played. Keep the lands that draw us cards. And see what the opponent has. As we are one more activation until Verasco activates, or ults. That's fine. That's a lot less fine. Pretty sure we did not lose our Jace there yet, so that's at least good. Did lose 2 Ambers and 2 Uros. That's a lot less good. Let's see if we can find anything. I have enough mana still. kill that. This deck is rough to play against at this point in the game. You're gonna kill our Kethis? Okay. I mean, it's reasonable. Nebraska is the one that's more likely to put me back in the game. Get rid of the swamp. Should have folded the mana. Doesn't matter. Didn't draw anything. Nothing for us to do. They're going to exile my breeding pool. Well, I don't like that. They like their card. They like their card. I don't mind this one. As long as it somehow resolves, I'll have 5 mana up. They just don't play counter magic, do they? Huh. Huh. Start from the top. If they draw cards, it's going to be backbreaking for him to get that again. Alternatively, he gets to draw cards and I get to draw cards. Oh, that's a mistake. The Castle of Vantress. He gets to draw it next turn. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. That I should have paid more attention to that. So now he gets to play it as a Teferi, or with Teferi's abilities, which is going to be... Oh, he likes something more than it. That's just great. Oh, wonderful. What's your other spell? Oh, just great. To be fair, we ult Vraska, and every creature is lethal. See, you cost 5, so you'll have enough. I just have to. I can keep Kethis in my hand. That doesn't do anything. I have to force him to leave Teferi. So right now, if he misplays and leaves the Vraska, I win the game off of Kethis hitting him. But I don't think he's going to do that. His correct move is to destroy a target Planeswalker, which would be Vraska, and then... Okay. Did not see that one coming. Still no Jace. 13 cards left. Okay, so we know all their cards now, though I think I'm going to go ahead and take this because they have no mana and I don't want them setting up their draw steps more. We can... So let's go ahead and get our draw. Still no Jace, but we can cycle this. There's Jace. go ahead and tick up. Can get rid of Watery Grave. We have enough to play Jason Emery, our 9 cards. That Vraska is nice. Let's threaten with the Emery too, because if now they have to deal with Jace and Vraska, because Emery was actually going to be lethal off that. And this also frees up our Mystical Dispute, so we should actually be in a great spot to win this game. Actually, very surprising with how this game's gone. We definitely dodged some bullets and got a lot of good draws and lined up real well for us. This just shows the power of this deck post sideboard, just having the ability to play this kind of game instead of the game we saw in game 1 where we just comboed out and won the game. Well, yeah, just going to exile a land, and they weren't going to be able to deal with enough things. So yeah, that's the deck, guys. I'm definitely glad to have gotten to showcase such a really interesting match with this deck. So if you enjoyed this, I do plan on doing more videos, so be on the lookout for those. Definitely shoot me a like, comment, subscribe. Let's just get consistent with this and see what we got from there. But yeah, this was Skill of Luck. Thanks again for watching.